And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lowdown Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin with some breaking news. I am told as of 11:42 Central Time, 9:42 time out there on the West Coast, according to people close to the situation who can't speak publicly, the Lakers and JJ Redick have moved on or moved forward, and JJ Redick is going to be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Details on the contract and all of that stuff is still going to come out. We've had an interesting morning here after last night. I told you guys on the show that we would probably get an announcement this morning. A few tea leaves led me to start asking some very direct questions. And the response that I've gotten is enough for me to call it that JJ Redick is going to be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I will get into those tea leaves here in a second. I will get into what comes next. I will get at some of the details that I have right now. But first and foremost, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do hit that like button. Please do tell your friends that you love the show. Tell your enemies that you hate it. And heck, a lot going on here. But again, the breaking news that we can all wait. We could all play the ESPN game that we're going to get here shortly is that JJ Redick is going to be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, so let's start with the tea leaves. How do we get here? I woke up this morning and I never watch First Take. That is just not my cup of tea. I just not at all interested in how they cover sports there. But I did want to watch because I wanted to see who was going to be on the show. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and kind of weird that the guy who called the game last night is kind of has been basically elevated to the next voice of ESPN's basketball in terms of analysis. Kind of weird that he was not anywhere to be seen on ESPN's premier show in the morning, right? First Take. It was Stephen A. Smith, it was Molly Kiram, it was Brian Windhorst, and it was Jay Williams. More on Jay Williams here in a second. I was looking, I was like, well, that's kind of odd. You would think that if this was any other situation, the guy who was on the airwaves to call the game last night would have made the short trip over to Bristol, Connecticut, and been in studio to talk about the scene as Boston celebrated its 18th championship in franchise history. But he was not there. JJ Redick was not there. So I kind of asked around, I was like, oh, wonder, is he in LA? And I'm still waiting to get confirmation as far as, is he in LA to sign the contract or whatever? But it was certainly odd. It was like that was the first kind of red flag, like, oh, something's going on here. And by the way, this is all on top of everything that I heard that led me to say last night on the show that we were going to get an announcement today. So again, fast forward to this morning, JJ's not there on ESPN's airwaves. There's some other kind of industry scuttlebutt that would indicate that there are preparations being made for the announcement whenever the Lakers want to leak it to Woj or leak it to Shams. It'd be kind of interesting to see who they leak it to. Given the roles that those newsbreakers have played in all of this. But I again asked around a little further, arrived at the conclusion that, yep, this is done. And it's just about how they want to frame it and all of that stuff. And look, I'm independent. I don't have to play by those rules. For those of you who have enjoyed my content and have stuck with me, this is the payoff. That I get to basically hop on here and tell you directly, this is done. However it comes out, whoever is the big account that gets to announce it and not give me credit, this is done. JJ Redick is the guy. He is going to be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. As far as how we arrived here in a more macro sense, whether or not Dan Hurley mattered, whether or not like all like how it went this weekend. Essentially, at the very, very beginning of this process, I told you guys that what I had been told is that the Lakers were heading into their interviews and the interview process, hoping to be wowed by JJ Redick. And that's what led me to write for Lakers Daily that they were zeroing in on JJ Redick a month ago. And the issue there is that Redick couldn't come to an agreement while the finals were going on. He didn't want to burn that bridge with ESPN. And ESPN didn't want to get in the way of its partner, the NBA, celebrating whoever won the championship. So JJ Redick plays good soldier, tells the Lakers, I have to wait a little bit. And I'm told that didn't exactly sit well with some people in the Lakers organization, some people very high up in the organization. And in that time, while they were waiting for JJ Redick, it gets back to the Lakers that Dan Hurley is not thrilled with his contract or the extension that UConn put on the table, coming off of winning back-to-back championships, and basically becomes more interested, theoretically at least, in working or working with the Lakers to see what kind of agreement they could come with, what the vision would look like, right? So Dan Hurley does wind up meeting with the Lakers, and those meetings, I was told, went well. The Lakers thought that the meetings went well. They came out of those meetings with an amount of confidence in the chances that they could hire Dan Hurley. And Dan Hurley even went so far as to leak, and his kind of team went so far as to leak the contract that he was expecting, that $100 million figure. And so I reached out to the people that I talked to, and I asked, that's a big figure. What are the chances that the Lakers would actually make that kind of an offer, get up to 9 figures for a head coach? And I was told somewhat hesitantly, yeah, we think that Jeannie and Rob are willing to go that high. So that's why I tweeted out, the Lakers are prepared to make an offer in the ballpark of $100 million, 8 years, $100 million to Dan Hurley. Then we come to find out that the offer that was actually made was 6 years, $70 million. And as a lot of people have pointed out on, on Twitter, kind of weird that the Lakers make that offer, and there apparently was no counter offer, that Dan Hurley didn't give them the opportunity to up that offer. That certainly was interesting. Hurley and his family really wanted to stay on the East Coast, though. I would imagine Hurley got a pretty nice new contract from UConn as a result of all of it. And again, the both sides move on, and the Lakers, when that took place, when Dan Hurley told them he was staying at UConn, circled back around to JJ Redick and brought him in for what Woj called his first official interview. That was not his first official interview. The Lakers and Redick had been in conversations, plenty throughout this process. There was a bit of a lull while the Lakers were waiting for the finals to wrap up. But for the most part, in terms of who the Lakers talked to most in this run-up to finally hiring a head coach, JJ Redick was always at or top of the list in terms of candidates and in terms of people that the Lakers were talking to the most, because I think they've always had real interest in JJ Redick. So heading into last weekend, Father's Day weekend, you get a report from Dan Wojcicki of the LA Times saying that JJ Redick is going to head in over the weekend for his for an interview with the Lakers. And Woj, I guess, first was technically on that. Wojcicki confirmed it. And so Woj said that interview would provide Redick the opportunity to jump to the forefront of the Lakers search. Again, the Lakers were always interested in Redick. I'm to the best what I can say, and I've been consistent on this all along, the Lakers have always been very interested in Redick. The only time that anything changed there was the whole Hurley situation. But the Lakers very quickly went back to Redick, and now I'm told it's done, that Redick is now the head coach of the Lakers. So where we go next and what comes next, right, is, well, the Lakers have to help Redick find an assistant coaching staff. So the again, the big news that I'm here to talk about. Now, this is going to be a relatively short conversation. A little bit later today, when other bigger accounts get to run with this news, I guess Harrison and I will hop on here again to talk all of this out. But where the Lakers go next is certainly interesting, because we've heard some names that the Lakers might be interested in to help JJ Redick and help on JJ Redick's staff. At the top of that list, I think the Lakers would love to hire James Borrego to be Redick's lead assistant. AD likes Borrego. Borrego has been, with Redick, is the only names I think that have been at or near the top of the list throughout this entire process. It appears, though, that Borrego is going to accept the job with the Cleveland Cavaliers, according to the people that I've spoken to around the league. I would imagine that will be coming here soon as well. But for the Lakers, all right, so Borrego's probably off of the list. I know that they would. They've had interest in the past in Terry Stotts. I think they might be interested there again. The other coach that I think the Lakers would love to bring in, who has been brought up before, is Jared Dudley. Dudley was a very, I think, welcomed presence in the locker room when the Lakers won that championship back in that 2019-2020 season. I'm trying to Scott Brooks. I was blanking on it. The other name beyond Dudley that oh, by the way, I should also mention this with Dudley. When Dudley was no longer a part of the Lakers organization, LeBron James actually tweeted about Dudley, saying that he's going to miss him and all of those things. So I think LeBron would like to have Dudley in the fold. And I think the Lakers also liked Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley has been an impactful presence with the Dallas Mavericks, who just, got all the way to the finals. And the Lakers could potentially offer him a promotion from his gig in Dallas. So he's another person that I think the Lakers would bring into the fold here. Another guy, obviously, Scott Brooks. Previous head coaching experience. That is going to be that is going to be one of the top priorities that the Lakers, I'm told, are going to be focused on, is bringing in people with prior head coaching experience to help JJ Redick with this. That was something that they didn't do as much with Darvin Ham, and I don't think that they loved how that played out. So I do think this time, with an even more inexperienced head coach in JJ Redick, the Lakers would probably go out and bring in guys with prior head coaching experience. Terry Stotts, Scott Brooks also come to, those are the two names that come to mind right now. Another guy I've kind of wondered about is Miles Simon. He worked for the Lakers under Luke Walton and then also under Frank Vogel. Miles Simon also did work with the Lakers G League team. And, I'm told that relationship between Simon and the Lakers was always good, always productive. And, a lot of times when you see a coach stick around for multiple head coaches, that indicates that there's something more to that relationship between that assistant coach and the organization. I think Miles Simon would make a lot of sense there as well. Another name that, I know a lot of people are kind of asking about is Rajon Rondo. We'll see. We'll see. I do think that LeBron James would be very much on board with Rajon Rondo coming back. Same goes for Anthony Davis. I I don't know how interested the Lakers would be in having another person be on the staff for their first NBA gig when the head coach is there for his first NBA gig. There's also some off-court stuff going on with Rajon Rondo too that the Lakers may choose to stay away from. Sam Cassell is a name that I know the Lakers would love to bring in. And maybe because the Lakers might save a little bit of money in hiring JJ Redick compared to Dan Hurley, that they'll be willing to, make a big splash and go out and get a Sam Cassell. But Cassell is on that Celtics staff. They just won a championship. And Charles Lee was the only person, I believe, ahead of him on that staff. Lee gets the gig in Charlotte. Sam Cassell might choose to stay in Boston while they contend to potentially repeat. We'll see what his priorities kind of look like there. But that is all I am going to say on this matter right now, because that is all the information that I have in front of me. Again, to those of you who are tuning in late, for one thing, record-setting show here, record-setting audience, 13,000 people tuned in right now. Shouts to all of you. Please do hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And if you guys are watching on Twitter, head on over to youtube.com/@LakersLounge. I'm going to turn this around and make it an emergency lowdown on the Lakers Lounge pod feed. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. And then a little bit later today, again, likely after we get the news from a more official accounts or whatever, I will go live with Harrison to break all of this down. So until then, and we do have a super comment, which means I get to introduce a lot of you people to a very important clip. I also I said that Jay Williams would come up again. Here's the clip that basically made me ask definitively and make calls. All right, this is done, right? Here's the clip. Here's Jay Williams talking about it.
And I feel like you have the Los Angeles Lakers that are trying to figure it out with JJ Redick, a first-time head coach. We wish them all the best of luck with LeBron James in his twilight years. Granted, they're still there. They still have a chance to contend, but, I mean, you're going to give the edge to Boston in a really big way. Stability in the front office, stability on the court with your top-tier players. There's a difference of franchises here.
Championship.
I loved everybody's face while Jay is saying that. Everybody's like, I don't think we're supposed to talk about this right now. But so between JJ not being on any of those shows in the morning and then that clip, I asked around and I was like, hey, this is done, right? And I was told by multiple people who I trust enough to be able to call it now that JJ Redick is the next head coach of the Lakers. But shouts to Jay Williams for kind of ruining the secret. But again, like I said, I'm going to be going live here later this afternoon after I get back from my haircut. I'm pretty bushy right now. Harrison and I will be live to talk about all of this. And until then, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you in probably a few hours. Have a good one, everybody.